I've noticed a lot of Airbnbs are hitting the market. Why? Are people going back to hotels? Or do we just have too many Airbnbs listed and they're not getting enough bookings to cover costs? PHX area. Went back to hotels after been cancelled on by Airbnb a few times one day before a trip. Messes up whole planned trip. I suspect there are a few things going on here. A lot of areas have really cracked down on short-term rentals, specifically targeting Airbnbs. People don't really want their quiet residential area to have a house with a bachelorette party going on every night. Oversaturation of the market. Airbnb owners themselves have gotten greedy with all the extra fees, rules and regulations. This is why I personally stick with hotels. I don't want to have to deal with a huge list of check-out rules to follow and have an overinflated cleaning fee tacked on top of that. Hotels are just so much simpler in these days. Usually cheaper to boot. Airbnbs are more expensive than hotels in many areas. Exorbitant cleaning fees. Screw Airbnb. They all want insane prices with just as insane cleaning fees. And want you to strip the bed. Put towels in a corner basket somewhere. Start the dishwasher, all while making you pay Waldorf Astoria prices. Just F that. Hotels are just cheaper and simpler. Bookings are down. A lot of shitty selfish owners and that area is saturated. Airbnb be like. Be sure to bring your own towels, linens and toiletries. You must turn the AC back to 75°F before you leave. Take out the trash, vacuum, dust and cut the lawn. Also be sure to scrub the toilet, walk the neighbor's dog and also clean their house. Cleaning fee $250. X 200B. But we're only staying one night and we'll clean up after ourselves? Cleaning fee for one night stay $350. Hotels all night every night. Done Airbnb for good. I'm a housekeeper and one of our clients pays us $180 to clean her Airbnb every time we go. Doesn't matter if only one bathroom is used out of the whole 4-bed 4-bath place. She pays $180 regardless. She clearly charges tenants that entire fee. So what does it matter to her? Woman shrugging. We went back to hotels when we are out of town. Fees got to be too high. People are finding out it's a lot of work. Getting calls on weekends. What's the best restaurant nearby? I saw a bug in the house. How do we get Netflix on this TV, etc. Also, seeing $200 night extrapolates to thousands per month. However, the house also sits unrented for $80 of the month. I've heard it said rental properties aren't worth the hassle unless you have about 5 of them. Otherwise, the rumors of passive income and investment property just become not worth the day-to-day of dealing with it. It's like a part-time job. One hot water heater replacement, you've lost most of your profits for the year. My biggest gripe with Airbnb and etc. is that in many places check-in is 4 p. Check-out is 10 a. If you stay one night you're paying for 18 hours. Most of which are sleeping, and on top of that on your last day they want you to strip the beds, start the towels in the laundry and load the dishwasher, etc. What am I paying a cleaning fee for? Because fads fade. PHX is the streakiest of streaky markets. It's a massive city with a significant amount of part-time residents and second homes. So you get an exaggerated market all the time. Go back to pre-Great Recession, and houses were selling like crazy. Then it turned into a nightmare overnight. Then when the recovery started, PHX was among the first places to blow up. And now it's coming back down. I saw this firsthand growing up in Florida. Boom. Bust boom. Busy. Airbnb is facing a massive consumer backlash. Cities, counties, and countries are nailing them left and right. Pretty much everyone has had enough of their bullshit. And whether they survive or not remains to be seen. I go on an annual trip with my college friends. Usually there are 6 of us that travel, and we get an Airbnb for that trip. It's definitely cheaper when you have a bunch of people, but when it's just my family, we get a hotel. Cheaper and easier. I had to go find toilet paper at midnight. That's the last time I stay at an Airbnb. Hotels are far superior. Only Airbnb that will survive are in remote tourist locations far from hotels. 3 things. It's become somewhat oversaturated. There's way too much competition. Regulations are starting to really hammer Airbnb in many areas, and culturally people are starting to turn away from it due to high fees, inventory shortages, weird rules, NIMBYs not liking the sound from parties, etc. Nearest they are getting taxed to death or closed down due to housing shortages. It must be the primary residence in order to comply. I've stopped booking Airbnbs and have gone back to hotels. They are just too expensive now and with unpredictable fees. The only time Airbnb makes sense is when traveling with a large group or family. Otherwise it's hotels all day long. Lots borrowed against first home and used Helix to purchase properties for Airbnbs. It's all fine until it forces a squeeze on supply, pushing up surrounding area prices by creating low supply, high demand. It's good for about 2 years until taxes and insurance catch up and adjust for the inflated prices. And now economic sentiment is low, making people slow spending. I figure a lot of mom and pop investments will hit the market soon because they lack the ability to hold properties through a downturn. I think more and more Airbnb customer service horror stories are starting to circulate, which is steering people away from STVRs. It's also not the economic option it used to be. Most Airbnbs I've looked at recently were more expensive than nearby hotels and came with a list of rules that had to be followed. When Airbnbs first became a thing, you could get a really nice place for like $70 compared to $120 at a hotel. Now the STVRs are $180 just for the booking, and the hotels are $140. Saturated market, and cities and neighborhoods are starting to ban short-term rentals. Because Airbnb has completely lost its way with a combination of rude hosts and horrific pricing models. Loved Airbnb before it got greedy. The last one I had to drive my garbage to a trash can a half-mile away. And almost every place is not professional level clean you get from hotels. People charge for cleaning and just do it themselves for cheap. Stayed in on at a ski resort, $1,500 a night. Exorbitant cleaning fee, and there was clearly a dead mouse in a wall somewhere that made it smell disgusting. Stayed in another in Alaska and the host refused to give out the door code. Instead you had to call her whenever you went in and out, and she would remotely unlock the door. Truly psychotic. Just inconveniences that make it less appealing than a hotel. I've never rented an Airbnb because it's never been remotely a good deal compared to an average motel, and average motel has free waffles and Fruit Loops in the morning. Because the Airbnb era is all but over. Cities are heavily regulating the use of residential housing for short-term rentals. It is no longer a wise investment. I am a hotel manager and can speak with a few people in the industry. It seems most of the hotels are up YOY. Obviously small sample size. From speaking with some guests, there are a multitude of reasons. Bedbugs, greedy hosts, inaccurate disputes leading to higher costs, oversaturated market. This is not the first time I've heard someone say something that suggests the Phoenix market is about to get interesting. Those who bought into Airbnb in 2018-21 are eager to cash out on their massive win from the gamble.